Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you today about something that's holding too many people back, something that kills dreams, that stops potential dead in its tracks. It's not failure. No, failure is a lesson. It's not fear. Fear can be conquered. The enemy I'm talking about is laziness. Now, I'm not here to judge you. We've all been there. We've all had days when we hit the snooze button one too many times, days when we say, I'll do it tomorrow, but guess what? Tomorrow comes and we push it again. And before we know it, days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and dreams start to fade away. But that stops today, right now, right here. To overcome laziness, the first and most crucial step is to set clear and achievable goals. Many people struggle with laziness not because they lack the ability or the willpower, but because they don't have a defined direction. When you don't know what you're working toward, it's easy to fall into a cycle of procrastination and inactivity. Clarity is power. When you establish a specific goal, you create a roadmap for yourself, giving you a reason to take action every day. Without goals, you are like a ship without a destination, drifting aimlessly, going wherever the wind takes you. However, when you define your purpose and what you want to achieve, you take control of your journey. One of the biggest mistakes people make is setting vague goals. Saying, I want to be successful or I want to get in shape is not enough. Success means different things to different people, and without specificity, the goal remains just a wish. Instead, you must define exactly what success looks like for you. If you want to get in shape, set a measurable target, such as losing 10 pounds in 3 months or being able to run 5 miles without stopping. If you want to advance in your career, identify the skills you need to develop, the promotions you want to earn, or the projects you want to complete. Specific goals give you a tangible target to work toward and help eliminate the uncertainty that often leads to laziness. Once you have set a clear goal, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. One of the reasons people feel overwhelmed and unmotivated is that they see their goal as too big or too difficult. Climbing a mountain may seem impossible when you look at it from the bottom, but when you break the climb into small steps, each step becomes achievable. If your goal is to write a book, don't focus on writing 300 pages. Instead, start with a single paragraph, then a page, then a chapter. If your goal is to start a business, don't get stuck thinking about every detail at once. Start with research, then develop a plan, then take the first small step toward launching. By dividing your goal into small steps, you create a sense of progress, and that progress fuels your motivation to keep going. A goal without a deadline is just a dream. If you tell yourself that you will achieve something someday, that day will never come. Setting a deadline creates urgency and forces you to take action. Deadlines hold you accountable and push you to move forward, even when you don't feel like it. However, your deadlines should be realistic. If they are too short, you might get discouraged. If they are too long, you might lose focus. The key is to find a balance that challenges you without overwhelming you. A good approach is to set short-term deadlines for small steps while keeping a long-term deadline for the bigger goal. This way, you continuously make progress and stay motivated. Writing down your goals is another powerful strategy to keep yourself committed. Studies have shown that people who write down their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them than those who just think about them. Writing turns an abstract idea into a concrete plan. It serves as a reminder of what you are working toward and reinforces your commitment. Place your written goals somewhere visible, on your desk, your wall, or your phone, so that you see them every day. This constant reminder helps keep your focus sharp and prevents you from falling back into laziness. Accountability is another critical aspect of goal setting that helps combat laziness. It's easy to slack off when no one is watching. But when you have someone holding you accountable, you are more likely to stay disciplined. Find a mentor, a coach, a friend, or a family member who can check in on your progress. Share your goals with them and ask them to hold you accountable. When you know that someone is expecting you to follow through, you feel a greater sense of responsibility to take action. Some people even join accountability groups or hire coaches for this very reason, to ensure that they stay on track and do not fall back into their old lazy habits. Setting clear and achievable goals is the foundation for overcoming laziness. It gives you direction, purpose, and motivation to take action. By making your goals specific, breaking them into small steps, setting deadlines, writing them down, visualizing success, staying accountable, rewarding progress, tracking achievements, and remaining flexible, you create a structured path towards success. When you know what you are working for and take consistent action toward it, laziness has no place in your life. Discipline is the foundation of success. While motivation can give you a quick boost of energy, it is fleeting. It comes and goes like waves in the ocean. Many people fall into the trap of waiting for motivation to strike before they take action. They tell themselves, "I'll start when I feel ready," or "I'll work on it when I'm in the mood." But that is a dangerous mindset. If you rely solely on motivation, you will accomplish very little, because there will always be days when you don't feel like doing the hard work. Successful people don't wait for motivation. They build discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It is the ability to push through resistance, to act despite discomfort, and to remain consistent even when it's hard. That is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain stuck in laziness. One of the most effective ways to develop discipline is by creating a structured routine. When you have a set schedule, you eliminate the need to rely on motivation. You don't wake up every morning wondering whether you should work out, study, or work on your goals. You just do it because it's part of your daily routine. Structure removes indecision, and indecision is one of the biggest killers of productivity. Many people waste time debating whether they should do something instead of just getting started. A disciplined person doesn't give themselves that option. They stick to their routine no matter what. This is why athletes train at the same time every day, why successful entrepreneurs follow strict daily schedules, and why top performers across all fields prioritize consistency over convenience. Accountability plays a significant role in developing discipline. When you are the only one who knows about your goals, it's easy to make excuses and delay action. However, when you make a public commitment or involve someone else in your progress, you feel a greater sense of responsibility to follow through. This is why workout partners, coaches, and mentors are so effective. When someone is expecting you to show up, you are less likely to make excuses. If you struggle with self-discipline, consider finding an accountability partner who will check in on you, remind you of your commitments, and push you to stay on track. Keeping a habit tracker, a journal, or a calendar where you mark each day you successfully complete a task can be incredibly motivating. This creates a chain of success that you won't want to break. For example, if your goal is to exercise every day, marking an X on your calendar for each workout creates a visual streak of progress. Once you see that streak growing, you'll feel motivated to keep it going. Missing one day can easily turn into missing 2, then 3, and before you know it, laziness takes over again. Discipline is about staying consistent, even when you don't see immediate results. One of the hardest aspects of discipline is dealing with setbacks. There will be days when you fail. You might miss a workout, procrastinate on an important task, or fall back into old habits. The key is to not let one bad day turn into a bad week or a bad month. Too many people fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking. They believe that if they slip up once, they have failed completely, so they give up entirely. This mindset is destructive. The truth is, discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about bouncing back quickly after setbacks. When you make a mistake, acknowledge it, learn from it, and move forward. Don't dwell on failure. Use it as fuel to become better. It is also important to reward yourself for discipline. Many people associate discipline with punishment, but in reality, discipline is about creating a better life for yourself. To make discipline sustainable, allow yourself to enjoy the rewards of your hard work. If you stick to your commitments for a week, treat yourself to something small, a nice meal, a short break, or an activity you enjoy. Rewarding yourself reinforces the habit and makes it easier to maintain. However, be mindful of destructive rewards. For example, if your goal is to eat healthily, rewarding yourself with junk food can set you back. Choose rewards that align with your progress rather than ones that undo your hard work. When negative thoughts arise, counter them with positive affirmations. Instead of saying, "I don't feel like doing this," tell yourself, "I am capable, I am committed, I will do what needs to be done." Your words have power. Speak discipline into your life, and over time it will become second nature. Developing discipline is not easy, but it is the key to breaking free from laziness and achieving long-term success. It requires commitment, consistency, and resilience. The more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes. Small actions, repeated over time, lead to massive results. Do not wait for motivation. Take action now. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your achievements. And once you master it, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. Laziness often thrives in an environment filled with distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, television, video games, endless notifications, and the internet. It has become easier than ever to lose track of time. Spending hours scrolling through news feeds, watching videos, or engaging in activities that provide instant gratification but add little value to personal growth. Many people do not realize that distractions are a major contributor to laziness. They create a false sense of productivity where time is wasted on unnecessary activities instead of being invested in meaningful tasks. To overcome laziness, one of the most effective strategies is eliminating distractions and creating a focused environment where productivity can thrive. One of the most common distractions is the smartphone. While it is a powerful tool, it is also a significant source of procrastination. Every notification, message, or alert can pull attention away from important tasks, making it difficult to focus. Studies have shown that even the presence of a phone nearby can reduce concentration as the mind is subconsciously waiting for the next ping or vibration. The first step to eliminating distractions is to take control of phone usage. Setting the phone on silent mode, keeping it out of reach while working, or using apps that block social media during work hours can make a huge difference. Some people even go as far as deleting unnecessary apps or using a separate device solely for work to maintain discipline. The key is to remove easy access to distractions and make it more challenging to engage in time-wasting activities. Social media is another major distraction that fuels laziness. It is designed to keep users engaged for as long as possible, using algorithms that show endless streams of content tailored to personal interests. Hours can pass without realizing how much time has been wasted. Social media not only consumes valuable time, but also drains mental energy, making it harder to focus on important tasks. One of the best ways to break free from this distraction is to set specific times for checking social media, rather than constantly opening apps throughout the day. Some people choose to log out after each use, delete apps during work hours, or even take extended breaks from social media altogether. By limiting social media consumption, the mind becomes clearer, productivity increases, and laziness decreases. A cluttered and disorganized environment can also contribute to distractions and make it harder to focus. When the workspace is messy, the mind becomes overwhelmed, leading to procrastination. A clean and organized space creates a sense of clarity and helps maintain concentration. Simple actions like removing unnecessary items from the desk, organizing documents, and keeping the workspace tidy can significantly improve productivity. Some people find that working in a minimalistic environment, free from excessive decorations or clutter, enhances focus, and eliminates the temptation to procrastinate. Multitasking is another hidden distraction that can lead to laziness. While it may seem like a way to get more done, it actually reduces efficiency and focus. When the brain is constantly switching between tasks, it struggles to maintain deep concentration, leading to decreased productivity. Instead of multitasking, focusing on one task at a time ensures higher quality work and better results. This is known as deep work, a concept that emphasizes uninterrupted focus on a single task for an extended period. Engaging in deep work eliminates distractions and allows for greater progress in a shorter amount of time. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who prioritize focus and productivity can also help in overcoming distractions. If you are constantly around people who waste time, procrastinate, or engage in unproductive habits, it becomes easier to adopt the same behavior. On the other hand, being around people who value discipline and hard work creates a motivating environment that encourages personal growth. Joining study groups, networking with ambitious individuals, or working in spaces where others are focused can provide the necessary push to stay on track. The digital detox method is another effective strategy to eliminate distractions. This involves setting aside specific periods where all digital devices are turned off, allowing complete focus on tasks that require attention. Some people practice this by having no screen hours in the morning or before bedtime, while others take entire weekends away from digital distractions. By taking regular breaks from technology, mental clarity improves, productivity increases, and the habit of laziness starts to fade away. Eliminating distractions also requires self-awareness. Many people do not realize how much time they waste on unimportant activities. Tracking daily habits and identifying common distractions is a crucial step in making necessary changes. Keeping a journal or using time tracking apps can help in analyzing where time is being spent and making adjustments accordingly. When people become aware of their distractions, they are more likely to take action to eliminate them. One of the most effective ways to stay focused and reduce laziness is to develop strong work habits. Creating a daily routine that includes structured work hours, regular breaks, and designated times for relaxation ensures that distractions do not take over. Having a clear plan for the day helps in staying committed to tasks and prevents mindless activities from consuming valuable time. The most effective way to overcome laziness is to take immediate action. Procrastination is one of the biggest obstacles to productivity, and it is often rooted in the fear of starting a task, the overwhelming nature of a project, or simply a lack of motivation. People often think they need to feel inspired, or wait for the perfect time, or wait until they are in the right mood to start a task. However, waiting for these ideal conditions often leads to inaction. The key to overcoming laziness is to stop waiting for the perfect moment and simply take action. Even if the action is small, it will generate momentum that makes it easier to continue. Once you begin a task, you will often find that it's easier than you initially thought, and the sense of accomplishment from starting can carry you forward. One of the most effective strategies for taking immediate action is to use the 5-minute rule. This is a simple but powerful technique where you commit to working on a task for just 5 minutes. The idea is that the hardest part of any task is often getting started, and once you overcome that initial hurdle, you are more likely to continue working on it. The 5-minute rule removes the mental resistance to starting because it makes the task seem less overwhelming. 5 minutes is manageable, and when the clock runs out, you might find that you are so engaged in the task that you keep going beyond the initial 5 minutes. This trick works because it helps you break the cycle of avoidance and procrastination. It pushes you to take that first step, which often leads to further action. In addition to taking small, immediate steps and letting go of the need for perfection, another powerful technique for overcoming laziness is the 2-minute rule. This rule is based on the idea that if a task can be completed in 2 minutes or less, you should do it immediately. This concept comes from David Allen's productivity methodology, getting things done. It's easy to put off small tasks because they seem insignificant or because we believe they can wait. However, when we ignore these small tasks, they tend to pile up and cause unnecessary mental clutter. By committing to doing these quick tasks immediately, we free up mental space and reduce the feeling of overwhelm. Simple things like answering an email, making a quick phone call, or organizing your workspace can be done in 2 minutes or less, and completing them immediately helps maintain momentum and keeps things moving forward. To create a habit of immediate action, it's also essential to remove any barriers that might prevent you from getting started. For instance, if the task at hand is writing a report, but you don't feel like sitting down at your desk, remove any distractions and create an environment that encourages focus. Set up your workspace in advance. If the task requires tools or materials, gather everything before you begin so that there are no interruptions once you start. The fewer obstacles you have between you and the task, the easier it is to take that first step. It's about preparing the environment in a way that makes it easier to take immediate action rather than making excuses for why you can't begin right now. In some cases, procrastination is the result of being overwhelmed by a large project. When faced with a significant task, it's easy to feel like there is too much to do, and as a result, we avoid starting. In these situations, breaking the task into smaller, manageable pieces is essential. Instead of thinking about the entire project, think about the next small step you can take. Focus on one part of the task at a time and start with the simplest or most immediate step. For example, if you need to write a research paper, don't think about writing the entire paper at once. Start by creating an outline or doing some preliminary research. Once you break it down into manageable pieces, the task no longer seems overwhelming, and you are more likely to take immediate action. Immediate action is also about building momentum. Once you get started, you will notice that it gets easier to keep going. Momentum is a powerful force in productivity. The more you take action, the more confident you become, and the more likely you are to continue. This is why starting is so important. The simple act of initiating a task can create a snowball effect, making it easier to work on other tasks and ultimately make progress toward your goals. In fact, many successful people report that they don't wait for inspiration or motivation to strike, they just start working and the motivation follows. Momentum creates its own motivation. Sometimes laziness arises because we don't know where to start. When there are too many things to do, we become paralyzed by indecision. The key to overcoming this is to just pick one thing and start. Even if you don't know which task is the most important, just start with something, anything. This initial step will clear the mental fog and give you the clarity to move forward. If you're unsure where to begin, choose the task that seems the most manageable or the one you are most excited about. The more often you start, the easier it becomes to take action the next time. The act of choosing to start, even in the face of uncertainty, is one of the most effective ways to fight laziness. Taking immediate action is the antidote to procrastination. By getting started, even in small increments, you break the cycle of avoidance and create momentum that carries you forward. Overcoming the fear of starting, eliminating perfectionism, breaking tasks into manageable pieces, and making your environment conducive to focus are all strategies that help you take action without delay. The key is not to wait for the perfect moment, but to take the first step, no matter how small, and keep moving forward. By doing so, you will build the momentum needed to overcome laziness and accomplish your goals.